Delali Dzirasa, who I think if there were a Mount Rushmore of Baltimore entrepreneurs at this date and time, he would definitely be on that, one of those faces on there. So Delali is a very, very well-connected, well-respected entrepreneur, visionary, charitable person. I know I first got connected with Delali with one of the networking groups that he has, BYP. Which, are there any BYPers here?
Woo!
BYP is a Baltimore Young Professionals networking group. And I've just really been impressed with Delali and his ability to connect people, to really champion people, and not just champion people that are like running alongside him, but champion people who could use a hand up and maybe in an underserved area of the community. He has not forgotten those people that are near and dear. So, Delali, thank you for being here. I'm Joey Price. I am the chair of the Young Members Committee here at the club, and we have some committee members here tonight as well. If you just want to raise your hands. Well, Delali, do you want a more detailed, in-depth bio? I feel like playing to the home crowd here. A lot of folks know who you are. But let's go ahead and get to it.
I got to give a shout out to Megan, all our folks sitting there. So thanks for coming, Megan. So I'll start off and again, thank you again for the invitation. I really appreciate it. Happy to be here. So I'll do anything for Joy. I love Joy. And to show how much I love Joy, I put a jacket on today. So my uniform is t-shirt and hoodies.
That's right.
Just about every day. And so this is me getting fancy for you, Joey.
And I love him, so I wore my purple.
So I'll start off and give a little bit of my background and talk a little bit about the company. And I'll try to go pretty quickly and then let folks ask whatever questions they have of me, my life, my journey. And I've learned a lot over the years, and I've made a ton of mistakes and a bunch of other startups. And I'm sure plenty in Fearless as well, and I'll talk a little bit about that, and then hopefully that can inspire and help some people along the way, and hopefully I can learn and you can share your experience as well, and this should be a good exchange. So they gave me a clicker. So man, sorry, who is I, right? So let's start there. So run a company named Fearless, and this kind of highlights a couple of things that I'm interested in, but I'll bend these up into a couple categories for folks. I'm someone that cares very deeply about. I've grown to care very deeply about this ecosystem, especially the technical ecosystem within Baltimore City in general. And this concept of, Joey mentioned it, but how do we really pull people together and really bring people together to solve problems overall is something that I care pretty deeply about. And as we talk a little bit more about the company, from a technology perspective, we are pretty bent on providing solutions that have kind of a citizen-focused approach. So civic tech is really my heart, and so a lot of these things. We talk about Digital Service Coalition, which is an organization of small firms across the country that we're helping to co-found that really want to increase citizen and user engagement across the public service and public sector technology. And so we're starting to get that group together. And then similar organizations in Baltimore. So I've run a couple conferences here in Baltimore. And my latest pet project is Hack Baltimore, which is trying to pull together kind of a citywide weekend of like problem solving. And so that will be coming in spring 2020. Check it out, hackbaltimore.io. We just announced it a couple weeks ago. So, bam. So that's a little bit about me. How did I get there? First of all, I have a cool mom. I'm the baby. So the youngest of three boys, raised by a single mother. She very much valued work ethic and working hard. My parents split up when I was fairly young. And I'd say kind of this hustle spirit, I think, was birthed out of my mom. So early on, she said, "Okay, boys, if you want to earn some extra money, you got to go out and you got to earn it legally, but go out and do something to earn some money." And so we did just about everything. So knocking from door to door, from paper routes to washing cars, to raking leaves, to walking dogs, to you name it, we have done it. And so I'm happy to live in the city and never see grass and never have to cut grass or like trim bushes ever again. I've done my fair share and then some. And then being a mother of three boys, that means that every one of our friends, we are the moving service. So we've moved every one of our friends and relatives and coworkers throughout the years. And so got a lot of that from her. My mom's a nurse, and so again, that she really instilled in us the kind of desire and the passion about service and helping those in need. And I'll come back to that in a second. So, being the youngest is pretty motivating, especially when you're following two older brothers that are really smart and really athletic. And so I'll highlight kind of this first bullet, which is between the three of us, we have 7 degrees, and I've got 1. So do the math. This is kind of what I follow. So you have to work really hard to stand out in a group like that, especially when this is one of your brothers.
Oh, wow.
So
Yikes.
So you go home, you say, Mom, I started a company, it's doing really great. She's like, I mean, that's cute, but
Your brother's a brain surgeon.
And so, welcome to my life. So this is my middle brother speaking at a conference, and this is his buddy now, apparently. So I had to figure out what do I like and what is it that I think that I'm good at, and how do I kind of pave my own course along the way. And there's really 3 things, I think 3 themes to my life that have been carried throughout time, which is I was interested in business, technology, and people, right? And I think those were 3 parts, 3 ingredients that I knew were part of the stew, and I've tried various things throughout the years to figure out how to mix them up, and a little bit more of this, and how do they come together. And so the business piece, I think, was really interesting, because I was always interested in really how do I chart my own course, right? And so this concept of where I can knock door to door, and if I wanted to buy something, I could go cut some grass, right? I could do something and earn extra income and go do a thing. And being the youngest also, I never liked being told what to do, and I had a whole house full of folks that wanted to tell me what to do and direct me. And so being able to kind of chart my own course was always interesting to me. And then from a technology perspective, I'm not sure if it was innovation, and I think a lot of innovative folks are just lazy, inherently lazy. And so for me, even throughout college and through my life, if I had to do anything more than once, I wanted to write a computer program to automate it for me, right? And so I never wanted to do the same task twice. I wanted to get someone else to do it for me, and I learned pretty early that I can get computers to do things for me. And so that became really, really interesting to me over time. And then on the people side, and I mentioned my mom and her kind of driving in us the passion to serve and to give back and to volunteer. So all of us spent most of our community service hours in nursing homes and all sorts of things. And so that was a big part of it. So we wanted to give back and help organizations that were doing good and doing good things. So again, business, technology, and people, kind of three major bins in my life. And how did I apply those? So from a business perspective, so I ended up going to UMBC, and while I was at UMBC, they started an entrepreneurship program. And at that point, I'm studying computer engineering, and it was a non-accredited program. And I felt like I had learned a lot and had a lot of kind of the hustle, right? So I knew how to knock door to door, but didn't have like some of the fundamentals around, like, I know how to create a business plan and pitch and some of those other pieces. And so I did all those courses. Also, I had tried a bunch of startups. As you can tell, by the time I graduated, I had 5 startups that I had started. Tried a lot of things, and they ranged from tech startups to a nonprofit to one really cool one is I ran a barbershop on campus. And so there's a neat story about that where in good fact, so UMBC was actually probably the only school in the world that I did not want to go to. Both my older brothers were at UMBC at the time that I went. And so again, trying my own course, I did not want to follow them and to subject myself to being behind them for another 4 years. Needless to say, my mom put me in a headlock and said, "You're going," and you see how that ended up. So I remember I think there was a party one night, and my middle brother had some clippers, and I needed a haircut, and I didn't have any money, and I didn't have time to get cut anywhere. And so I borrowed a pair of his clippers. I hadn't cut my hair before, and I said, I'll figure it out, right? So I cut my hair. It takes forever. And before the party, I think it was done, and someone else walked by, and they said, "Oh, yeah, clippers. I know you cut hair." I was like, "Yup." So we sat down, and what should have been a 20-minute haircut was about an hour and a half, a lot of sweat, a lot of fear along the way. But, we made it through it, and then kind of the light bulb went off and said, "Oh, maybe I can make this a thing." And so I launched my business, and the deal was that for that rest of that semester, everyone on campus, no matter who they were, they got a free haircut anytime they wanted. Cut everyone for free. The following semester, you got your first haircut free, you paid for the rest. The third semester, everyone paid. And at that point, I was good because I practiced on everyone, right?
Yeah.
And the thought was they were free haircuts because if I messed up,
Whatever.
Right?
Yeah.
Volunteer haircut. So they couldn't call back. But then I started a barbershop in the basement, and I cut all the campus hair, right? So that was kind of a neat experience, right? And then got a chance to shadow some really interesting people. And from the tech startup side, it was cool where I learned. So I was cutting hair, and then realized that I could make more money programming. And so I shifted and said, well, let me start programming instead. And so had a couple startups with friends where I went in with partners and learned a lot from the experience where I had a light semester, I was ready to run, and they had a heavy semester, and the timing didn't work out. And I said, hey, let's really get this going next semester. And they had a light semester, and I had a heavy semester, and we couldn't get the timing right, we couldn't get the thing off the ground. And so learned a lot about partnerships and partnership agreements and how all of that works and things that didn't work. And then kind of the nonprofit side, right? So again, the people side, I'm still really interested in that. So while in college and a little bit after college, I volunteered a lot with church and working with the youth there and the young adults there. Ended up starting a ministry running young adults and getting them involved and plugged in and doing community service projects. And so I knew I liked these things, and I still wasn't sure like how all of this stuff was supposed to fit together. And so here's John Maxwell, one of my favorite authors. He's a leadership guru. And I think this is true of really every aspect of my life, and especially major inflection points and periods of decisions where I had to make along the years, where I went and I asked for advice and mentorship. And I said, this is where I am. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. Give me some advice. And so I was always pretty good about seeking out mentors, whether it be in college and asking random people, can I shadow you for a day? And I really freaked a lot of people out by just saying, can I follow you around for a day? But I really didn't care, right? So if someone said yes, I was going to hold them to that yes. And so early on, I had a really cool experience in undergrad where I was representing UMBC at an event, and the current secretary of DBED, which is now the Department of Commerce, his name is Erasmus Lorados, and I met him at an event, and I said, hey, can I follow you? Can I follow you on for a semester and shadow you? And he was like, okay. I called the office, and I don't think he thought I would, and I called him probably 20 times, and I went through all the layers and barriers, and then following for a semester. So their office sits on top of the office that sits on top of SSTAT, which registers every business in the state of Maryland, right? So they regularly have people coming in for pitches, and I got a chance to sit there, and I got a chance to follow him around Annapolis when he had to testify, and it was a really, really cool experience. And every time I would meet someone from that, I would say, can I follow you for a day, right? And I really wasn't scared about doing that. So mentors, I got a lot of advice for them as I went. And then I ended up working for a small company out of college. And so fast forward, I was graduating from undergrad, and I interned at a couple interesting places, at BGE, Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab, and a couple other places. So I had a few offers coming out of undergrad, and I went to go talk to a mentor at UMBC. I talked to Dr. Bowski, and I said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this business thing. And he's big on, keep going, get the MD, PhD, right? Both my brothers were kind of on that track. And I knew I wanted to do something different in business, and so we made a couple of recommendations. One coming in particular to a CEO named Rob Baruch, who was running a company called Rabble Technologies, and he was a UMBC alum. He said, why don't you go talk to this guy? So I went into that interview, and on day one, I said, Mr. Baruch, I want to start a company. And I don't know what it looks like. I know I like technology, I know I like business, I know I like people stuff, but I want to learn. And if I can come here and learn a little bit more about the business side, I'm happy to provide technology and do that here, but I want to pick your brain. I want office hours. I had a laundry list of like stuff and demands, right? And going back, he laughs at me all the time. And I said I want to learn the business. I want to be able to come in and understand how we make decisions and get groomed. And I felt like I had nothing to lose. I had other offers. I had never heard of this company before, and they agreed. So.